Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Naval Action. So, a few days ago, on the forums, a player ship selection poll got put up. So, a couple of months ago, we gave the devs, or in a public thread, some ship plans, and we voted on which ones to get further in the voting, and 15 ships got further. So I'll quickly mention the ships here, tell what they are, like whether they're a frigate or a ship of the line, how many guns they have. But before we do that, there's a ship which has been brought to my attention, which should pop up on the screen now, which isn't in the poll because it got discovered after the thingy was closed to submit more plans for ships and such. And she's a really nice ship. I don't know if you can agree or not, but I think she's a really nice ship. And it would be really lovely to see her in the game. I don't know if some of you are getting what I'm getting at, but if you guys want to see this in the game, the devs of course are open to suggestions from players and all that. It would be cool if you guys, in the 4th page of the ship selection thread, there will be a link to that post specifically with that ship, which is the Princess Frederica Luisa Wilhelmina, which is a 54 gun 4th rate ship of the line. And I'd love to see her in the game. So this is of course going to be me pushing a bit of my personal agenda because I really want to see her. If you like that post and maybe comment that you would love to see her in the game as well. If enough people do that, maybe the devs will say, okay, we'll put her in the game. So just look at her. She should be on the screen now. Come on, she's beautiful. Was built in 1779. She's just a beautiful ship in my opinion, and she fits, in my opinion, she fits the game. She would fit the game nicely, I would think. A 4th rate ship of the line, 54 guns. But I'd like to see her because she's a beautiful ship. So if you want to see her as well, just like the post, which is by Steel Sandwich, which you can find in the link below, and maybe comment that you would love to see her. If you don't want to see her, well, I'll be disappointed. Because I really like the look of her. I would just love to see her. But either way, let's go on to the ships, which are in the voting poll.
Channel.
Which, fine. Be right back.
Sound muted.
Yeah, I'm not a genius. But either way, so these are votable. So think of pressing a like on the Princess Wilhelmina, which I'm going to call her for short. Consider that a second vote on another ship, since I'd love to see her in the game. And the devs of course listen to the player base, so if enough people say that they want her in the game, well, maybe they'll just add her in the game, because she's just a beautiful ship. But either way, let's go on to the ships which you can vote on in the main thread, which of course link in the description. So the first ship is a Dutch design. It's the Mars. She is an 18 gun brig, which has quite an interesting design. There should be a picture on top or on the screen right now. I would like to see her in the game. She was built in 1781. And of course you can read more on it in the ship selection thread. I won't go into detail here because otherwise the video will be too long. Next up, we have an unnamed Venetian corvette, 22 guns, built somewhere between 1700 and 1750. She was built to counter piracy of Venetian trading routes. I don't know if I messed that up. So that's another option. I don't think she's spectacular, but you know, more ships the better. The next ship is a Spanish corvette. There's two versions of her, one military and one exploration version. And it's the Descubierta, which is a 1789 16 gun corvette or 26 gun for the military version. And she was a exploration and scientific research vessel. And of course, picture on the screen. There will be picture on the screen of every ship, so don't. So unless you're blind or you're not watching, yeah, you should see it. And it's in the thread, of course, linked in the description. Next up, the Christiansborg, I mean, which was a Dano-Norwegian 24-gun frigate built in 1758. She was a 12-pounder frigate. Nothing more to say, really. Next up, we have a really popular ship in the voting. It's the Diana, which is a 32-gun Spanish 12-pounder frigate. She looks alright. She's very popular. I don't disagree with her, but oh well. There's other ships I'd rather see, like the Marsh. Next up, we have yet another Danish frigate, which is the Freya, which was built at Copenhagen. She was an 18-pounder frigate, designed as an 18-pounder frigate. However, she carried 24-pounders throughout most of her career, so it's another 40-gun frigate, Danish. Next up is a Swedish frigate, the Venus, also late 18th century, 1783, 40-gun frigate, and she also carried 24-pounders. And she is also quite popular in the polls, if I just check the numbers. Well, recently she beat the third most popular, and at the time second most popular, the Admiral de Ruyter, which we'll get to later. And she's currently in second place after the Diana. So the top three currently is the Admiral de Ruyter, the Venus, and the Diana. Next up is a Portuguese ship, a 50-gun frigate, so would put her in the Constitution ballpark. And she was built in 1819, the Princesa Real. She carried 24-pounders, so she would be really similar to the Constitution. Next up, we move away from the frigates and we start getting to the ships of the line. And first up is the Dordrecht, a 54-gun, fourth-rate ship of the line, laid down in 1739. 54 guns. She's a ship of the line, so even though she has the same amount of guns as the Constitution, she would probably be better for line fighting. Next up, we have another fourth rate, although a larger fourth rate, she barely classifies as a fourth rate, is the Vasa, a 60-gun Swedish ship of the line designed by Fredrik Chapman. And, well, it's not much. She looks like a large frigate to me. 60 guns. Yeah. Next up we have an even older ship than the Dordrecht, which 1739 makes her quite old. It's the Venden, which is another Dano-Norwegian ship. 70 guns, third-rate ship of the line it would be. And you can really see that it's an old ship by the design. And I really like the look of her personally. I would love to see her in the game, but she's not popular in the polls. But oh well. Next up, we have the Prince Christian Frederick, 1804 Dano-Norwegian 66-gun ship of the line, I think. It's a 66-gun Danish ship of the line. She looks alright, I think. Next up, we get to the also popular 74 guns. Very successful, like, class of ship. Like, very popular. The Bologna and the third rate are of similar design, and it's another Dutch ship. It's the Vrijheid. So this is a 74 gun ship of the line. I would suspect similar armament to the Bologna. Not much more to say about that. Next up, we have what I would possibly call the ugly duckling out of all the choices. Although I wouldn't complain if she got it in the game. She's a Dutch ship, which I want. I don't want her specifically, I just want the Dutch ship. And she's an 80 gun ship of the line, which would put her at second rate. As a second rate, I think. She being a Dutch design, she has shallow draught and flat bottom and a square profile, so most Dutch ships should have that, because she's a typical Dutch hull form. She's designed in 1808. Technically she would be French, I think it was. It was in that period, was Napoleonic era, at least. At the very least it would be, if I'm not mistaken, it would be part of the, when the Dutch was basically a puppet state of the French. But yeah, I'm not too enthusiastic about her. She's the third in the polls. I'd rather see the Dordrecht, or even better, the ship which Steel Sandwich posted, the Wilhelmina, the Princess Wilhelmina. That's just beautiful ship. But anyway, let's get to the last ship, which is the Christian 7, which 1767 Dano-Norwegian 90 gun ship of the line. So yeah, she simply just said she's a 90 gun ship of the line. She would be a second rate. And the 3 ships I'm going to say right now, well, 4 ships now that Steel posted his. I'd originally recorded this earlier, but I'm redoing it because of the Steel's post about that ship, which I love the look of. But the 4 ships I want to see, top of the line, top of the list, the Princess Frederica Luisa Wilhelmina. Just look at her. I'm putting the picture up now. I think she's a beautiful ship. If you want to see her in game, make sure to like that post. Not this video. In the link in the description there will be 2 links. One which is just to the forum post where you can vote for a poll, and the second is to that exact post which you need to like if you want to see the ship, and maybe comment with a quote to that post that you want to see Steel's ship. I really want to see it. I really like the looks of this ship, and it's kind of, yeah, I should probably be neutral when talking about ships polls like this, but she isn't part of the poll though, and I hope that if enough people would want to see this ship in the game, that the devs will put it in the game. It's your decision whether to like it or not, but yeah, she's on the top of the list, even though she's not part of the poll. Let's make this clear. So if you like that one, you can still vote for the other ships. Second, or first in the poll itself, would be the Dordrecht, which is another 54 gun ship of the line, as I said earlier. I like the looks of her, although I'd still prefer the Princess Wilhelmina. Third, it's Venden, because I just love the design of those old ships. And third, it's the Marsh. And why the Marsh? Because it's a unique design. You can't deny that the Marsh is a unique design. So those are my top 3. Well, top 4, technically top 3, but I really want the Wilhelmina in game. But go down, vote for the ship you want to sail, not the one you think fits better in the lineup, let's make this clear. The ship you want to sail, vote for it, and in I guess a month's time or something, we don't know how long the polls are open for, but make sure to vote for the ship you want to sail. And make sure to like Steel Sandwich's post. and maybe comment, leave a reply with a quote from that post saying you would love to see her. And yeah, I just like to thank you all for watching. Make sure to vote in general, right? Most of you are old enough to vote, so but both for your government and for this, make sure to vote. And I hope to see you next time. Bye.